Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. Throughout the millennia of Chinese civilization, Han Chinese regimes have predominantly ruled the land, but there were two unified dynasties that were not established by Han people. These were the Yuan and Qing dynasties, formed by northern nomadic peoples who invaded from the north and overthrew the existing Han regimes. The Yuan dynasty arose from the fractured Mongol Empire and lasted only 98 years before being overthrown by a Han military group led by figures like Zhu Yuanzhang. However, the Qing dynasty lasted for 276 years. It is hard to imagine that 300 million Han Chinese were ruled by 3 million Manchus for nearly 3 centuries without being overthrown by a Han revival. This phenomenon is rare and can be attributed to 4 main factors. First, there was a notable difference in actual combat strength between the two groups. The Manchus were originally a nomadic people, living in the harsh environments of the northeastern regions. From early on, they were skilled in horseback riding and archery, with strong physical capabilities. The Han, on the other hand, placed a great emphasis on culture and education. After the Qing dynasty, Confucian philosophy took root deeply, and from a young age, people were taught to pursue political achievements. In various dynasties throughout history, civil officials were always ranked higher than military generals, except during the founding or end of dynasties. Suppression of military officials was a constant, and this perspective also influenced common people. Historically, whether facing the Mongols or the Jurchens, the Han often lacked a clear advantage in battle against nomadic groups. Additionally, the nomadic people's dietary habits were different, contributing to their generally superior physical condition compared to the Han. When Li Zicheng led 400,000 Han soldiers to invade central China, they were unable to defeat even 150,000 Manchu cavalry. Therefore, considering both physical abilities and thinking styles, the Manchu and Han cultures displayed significant differences. Importantly, the people in central China were also eager for a stable and peaceful life. Second, the Qing dynasty implemented strategies like the eight-legged essay and the literary inquisition, aimed at controlling the populace. As the Qing government was led by a minority, it imposed strict control over Han culture and thought. It said that to control a person's thoughts, you must first control their way of thinking. The Qing rulers understood this well, using measures like the eight-legged essay and the literary inquisition to strengthen their hold on the minds of ordinary people. During this period, the imperial examination system strictly adhered to the eight-legged essay format, with rigid rules regarding structure, tone, and style. These restrictions severely limited the creativity of scholars. Over time, the eight-legged essay not only restricted the intellectual capacity of scholars but also had a detrimental effect on the academic environment. In the reigns of Kangxi and Yongzheng, the Qing frequently targeted scholars and intellectuals with harsh literary inquisition campaigns. The well-known phrase, "The breeze doesn't recognize words, why bother flipping through books?" was seen by the rulers as a veiled or indirect criticism of the Qing dynasty, leading to the author's execution. According to incomplete records, there were over 200 literary inquisition cases during the Qing dynasty, but only a few were justified, with most being wrongful convictions. Third, the Qing rulers promoted the integration of the Manchu and Han peoples. To minimize differences and divisions between the two ethnic groups, the Qing rulers not only made efforts in the realm of thought but also adopted conciliatory policies. To ensure political stability, they actively studied Han culture and customs, integrating into Han society more effectively. The emperors and nobles were the first to learn Confucian classics, and they encouraged intermarriage with Han people to blend into Han culture better. This approach quickly eliminated many of the communication barriers between the Manchus and Han, fostering greater interaction and understanding between the two groups. Fourth, the Qing used Chinese characters to govern the Han and suppress rebellion. Unlike the Yuan dynasty, the Manchus believed that repression alone would not work given the sheer number of Han people. Instead, to weaken the will for rebellion among the Han, they implemented crucial measures. These policies were based on the idea of Han governing Han, allowing Han people to gain positions in the government and court. As long as certain rights of the Han elite were protected, they would follow the court's policies and manage their Han subjects accordingly. By securing the interests of a minority, the Qing rulers managed to control the larger Han population. As these policies took effect, those with rebellious thoughts were divided into smaller groups, and the few who held these ideas lacked the power to pose a significant threat to the Qing's political stability. By implementing the Manchu-Han unity strategy, Qing leaders successfully controlled 300 million Han people, showcasing their exceptional political acumen. In conclusion, the longevity of Qing rule over China can be attributed to multiple strategies, including military suppression, conciliatory policies, and the co-opting of intellectuals. These strategies not only ensured the legitimacy of their rule but also created the conditions for the fusion of the Manchu and Han peoples. However, the most significant suppression imposed on the Han by the Qing was intellectual control. The use of the eight-legged essay and the literary inquisition stifled the intellectual class, and this intellectual repression eventually backfired on the Qing. By the late Qing period, their thoughts had become rigid, leading them down the path of isolation and eventual downfall. This is History and Culture channel. Like and subscribe are the biggest help and support for us. Thank you everyone. See you next time.